See this? This is what $50 of dead money looks like. It's gray, it's dusty, and worst of all, it is completely hydrophobic. When I pour water onto it, it just sits on top like a bead of mercury on glass, refusing to soak in. Most gardeners, millions of them every year, take this old potting soil and throw it straight into the trash because they think it's spent and the life has been sucked out of it. So they go back to the store and spend another $50 or $100 on fresh bags. But today, we are stopping that cycle. We are not throwing this away. In just 5 days, I'm going to show you how to wake this soil up, recharge its battery, unlock the nutrients that are still chemically trapped inside, and turn it back into the rich, spongy black gold your plants are desperate for. Before we can fix this, we need to understand what actually happened here. Why does potting soil die? First, the structure collapses. Peat moss and organic matter decompose over time, and as they break down, the air pockets, the lungs of your soil, disappear, so the particles pack together tight, like concrete. Second, the minerals are gone because your plants acted like miners, extracting calcium, magnesium, and trace elements, until what's left is basically an empty skeleton of dirt. And third, you get salt buildup. Every time you water with tap water or use liquid fertilizer, tiny amounts of salt stay behind, and over a season they crust over the particles, almost pickling your soil and burning any new roots that try to move in. So our mission is simple: restore the structure, flush the toxins, and reignite the biology. Step 1 is what I call the mechanical reset. We have to physically break the chains of compaction. I take all my old soil, roots, dust, crusty tops, and dump it into a large wheelbarrow, and if you look closely, you can literally see the ghosts of last year's garden in those dense root balls that are now useless and just taking up space. We need to screen this, so I use a simple 1/4-inch hardware cloth screen and start rubbing the soil through. As the soil falls, we're separating the trash from the treasure. The old woody roots, rocks, and big chunks stay up top and go off to the compost pile to break down slowly over the next year, while what falls through becomes our base. That sifted material is fine and loose, but it's still incredibly dry. If you potted a plant in it right now, it would die of thirst because the peat has gone hydrophobic. It literally fears water. That brings us to step 2, the flush and hydration. We need to wash out those accumulated salts and rehydrate the organic matter, but we can't just dump plain water on it because it will beat up and run off. We need a surfactant, a wetting agent, and my favorite secret weapon is raw aloe vera gel, or a little organic yucca extract. Both of these plants contain saponins, natural soap-like compounds that break the surface tension of water and let it slide into those stubborn dry particles. I mix the aloe or yucca into my watering can and slowly saturate the pile, working it in until the soil feels like a wrung-out sponge. When you squeeze a handful, you want 1 drop of water to come out, no more and no less. As I turn this pile, we're flushing old fertilizer salts away, reopening the pores in the soil, and you can already see it starting to darken, but chemically it's still empty and hungry. Now that the soil is clean and hydrated, it needs food, and that's step 3, remineralization. Think of your soil like a completely drained battery. We need to plug it back in. I use a simple but powerful blend. First, I add rock dust, basalt or glacial rock dust, because that's where you get your micronutrients like iron, manganese, and zinc that don't show up in compost in big quantities. This is the multivitamin for your dirt. Second, I add a source of calcium, usually garden lime or finely pulverized eggshells, to buffer the pH and make sure plants can actually access the nutrients in the mix. Third, I sprinkle in a high-quality organic slow-release fertilizer, such as chicken manure pellets or alfalfa meal to provide the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that will fuel strong green growth. I mix all of this dust of life thoroughly into the soil, but at this point, we've only handled the chemistry. To turn this into true black gold, we still need biology. Step 4 is the biological spark, and this is the most critical part of the whole process. You can have water and minerals, but without life, all you really have is wet chemicals sitting in a bucket. We need to introduce the workforce, the bacteria, fungi, and protozoa that chew on those organic fertilizers and deliver them right to your plant's roots. My first non-negotiable ingredient is worm castings, because they are absolutely packed with beneficial bacteria and act like a sourdough starter for your soil. On top of that, I add a splash of unsulfured molasses dissolved in water, and yes, that's sugar on purpose, because bacteria have a serious sweet tooth. The molasses is a fast energy source that wakes up microbes in the worm castings and sends them into a reproduction frenzy, rapidly colonizing your rebuilt soil. Once the castings and molasses are mixed in, the magic really starts. I keep turning the pile until everything looks evenly blended and evenly moist, then I mound it up and cover it with a tarp, or even an old piece of plastic. This begins what I call the cook phase, and this is where most people get impatient and jump the gun. We're going to let it sit for 5 days, and that window is crucial. It's long enough to get serious biological activity, but short enough that you can still call this a quick transformation. Under that tarp, this pile is coming back to life. So why 5 days? In the first 24 hours, the bacteria population explodes as they burn through that molasses, and you can often feel the pile getting warm from all that microbial activity. By day 3, the fungi really kick in, sending out their white, thread-like hyphae that knit individual soil particles together into larger crumbles called aggregates. That aggregation is what gives you that chocolate cake texture, with little chunks that hold their shape when you squeeze them, but still crumble when you poke them. Those aggregates create a soil structure that can hold both air and water at the same time, which is exactly what root systems love. If you plant directly into this mix too early, while the biology is still raging at full speed, the system can actually steal nitrogen temporarily from your plants as the microbes continue to multiply. But by around day 5, the microbial activity evens out, things stabilize, and the nutrients in the soil become bioavailable instead of locked up. At that point, you've turned a pile of trash soil into an actively living medium that's ready to support healthy growth. Waiting those extra few days is the difference between a disappointing season and a planter that explodes with life. After the 5-day cook, it's time for the reveal. I pull back the tarp, and the first thing you notice is the color. It's shifted into a rich, dark espresso brown, a totally different shade from the pale, ashy gray we started with. But the real test isn't the color, it's the smell. When I scoop up a handful and bring it to my nose, it no longer smells like dust or something stale. It smells sweet and earthy, like a forest floor after a rainstorm. That smell comes from geosmin, a compound produced by healthy soil bacteria. And when you smell that, you know life is back. The texture is just as important. I grab a handful of this revived soil, squeeze it into a ball, and it holds together. Then I poke it with my thumb, and the ball gently crumbles apart into loose crumbs instead of cracking or turning to mud. That perfect balance, sticky enough to hold, crumbly enough to fall apart, is exactly what roots need to move through the soil, access oxygen, and find moisture without drowning. This soil that was once dead, compacted trash is now arguably better than what I could buy in a bag at the store, because it's alive with my local biology and tuned to my conditions. And here's the big picture. By doing this, you've just saved $50 or more on fresh potting soil. You've kept plastic bags out of the landfill, and you've created a premium growing medium essentially for free. Gardening isn't just about growing plants, it's about growing soil. When you focus on building living soil, the plants almost take care of themselves, because they're plugged into a complete ecosystem instead of sitting in a sterile sponge. If you found value in this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really does help more gardeners find this information and supports the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you want to become a soil alchemist yourself and see more transformations like this one. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you been reusing your potting soil, or have you been throwing it away up until now? Tell me your experience, your wins, and your horror stories down below, and let's learn from each other. Go grow something green, and I'll see you in the next one.